day after Meredith Kessler won at Ironman New Zealand, and we are beering up. First of all, cheers.
Cheers to you. Thank you. Love it.
Well, one of the things that Meredith is a firm believer in is balance. So how important is it to chill out the next day?
Oh, very important. But every day you can give me a beer or preferably even a glass of wine or two. I sound like such a lush, but it's part of our life, like with food. And, you know, you don't need to overdo it, but it's not something you can't have even every day if you'd like a glass. So I believe in that. My husband believes in that. Our friends do. So we love that. Yeah.
Excellent. Now that you are chilling out, you've had time to reflect on the race.
Yeah.
It was a hard battle out there from what we saw. Tell me, what was the hardest part of the day for you?
Mm-hmm. Well, you actually asked me the question the other day, would you rather be the hunter or the huntee? And I actually was thinking about that, like, during it, because, you know, it was so fresh, and I was like, oh man, maybe being the huntee is not as great as I thought, you know, because I have never pedaled like to try to stay in the lead as much. You know, the beauty of the course is you could kind of see how it was unfolding. So I think the first loop, when I saw how impressive, I mean, Gina had gained time, and so I was like, oh my gosh, you have really got to get going here, and because I know she can run, and I know she can run faster than me, and so I wanted to try to really pick up, and that was our plan, is to really drive home the second loop of the bike. So it was a battle in that, you know, you are just being chased. You're the rabbit all day long, and it's not a bad position to be in, but it's scary. I mean, I was swimming scared, biking scared, and running like I was being chased by what they say, a serial killer. Like, no joke. It was, and she's all of this big, but she was amazing, and so, yeah, scary stuff.
So let's walk through the day. Your swim was about 47 minutes and change. And you're actually, I don't think you knew at the time, but you were the fourth person out of the water overall.
Yeah, that's nutty. I didn't know that. Obviously, I knew, I figured it was Marco and Bevan because I know they're phenomenal. I knew that was Terenzo just because I knew his cap color. And then I didn't know, though. I thought there were maybe other guys up there, so I didn't know. I just know I was swimming solo, and I didn't know how many dudes were in front of me. I couldn't even really see where Gina was. It's such a big lake, and, you know, not good sighting out there, even though the water is perfect and everything was fine in that level. So, yeah.
And then onto the run, I mean, we pretty much saw you all day on the run, and the thing that I noticed is that you're a strong runner. Like you don't have a high cadence compared to some runners, but you just have this stoic kind of run that can get you to the finishing line. But I think in the press conference after the race, you said the first 30 Ks you're comfortable, you're in control, but the last 10 Ks the wheels started to come off.
Oh my gosh, I was just, when I had processed it, just, you know, when you don't really sleep the night after an Ironman, I was like, you know, in an effort to tell my coach too, like, that's what we've been working on, the back 10K, and I have to tell you, it was better. I have felt way worse than an Ironman before, but I felt like, this is great. If I could just keep this pace, you know, we've been practicing that pace and really being familiar with Ironman, you know, pace, and it felt great, and it's like, you always wonder, when is it going to happen? And it happens. I mean, you go from hero to zero so fast. I'm talking within like 5 minutes, and it sure as heck, it happened, especially the last, you know, I'd say 8K, because I remember once I got to 32K, I was like, okay, I'm still fine. 34K, I was like, I'm losing it. I am losing it. She's gaining. It was 8 minutes. Now it's 7. Now it's 6. And then I'm trying to calculate in my head, if I just go a minute, you know, slower than her per mile, okay, I'll still get there. But, you know, that took me about to the finish line to figure out. So in my haze. But no, and now I know, okay, what can we do to really fine tune that back half, you know? And when I did know, I think I was gonna be able to do it. It's by no means do you let off, but there is this weight lifted off your shoulders, like one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, just get to the line. So that was my thought process the last, you know, 2K, when I was like, how am I gonna get to the line?
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you, what is going through your head, because I mean, yes, there's all the training that you do for an Ironman, which is super important, but everyone always talks about how important the mental game is. And to me, you're like you've said in the past that you really lay it on the line every race that you do, and well, you laid down at the finishing line.
Oh, man.
So what was going through your head those last sort of 3 or 4 Ks?
I could have laid down more, started snoring, and like I literally had to use I've been worse at the finish line obviously before, but I mean, I couldn't even muster like to talk to Mike Riley. I mean, how could you not do that? I could talk to him finally, but I looked like a drunken Stuber. I just think that last 5K, you start making small little goals, like get to the end of the road and get to the next turn. And this course, they changed it this year. I mean, it's 3 loops and it is hilly. And Gina and I were discussing like, after it accumulated hill after hill, it would have been we would have felt completely different had that been a little bit more flat. I mean, where you guys were in the beginning, it was great. It was like, flat and faster and a little downgrade, but the hills started to accumulate that third lap, and then I start feeling the effects of them the last 5K. So this sport, just as you said, like it was 100% mental. The last 5K, it was like finish. You just replay it, like don't quit. I mean, all those cliches you have to say, like you're gonna make it. Just remember how you feel when you get to the line. So I was like having self-talk like you wouldn't believe, and all the fans that are so lovely. It's like my least favorite part of it is I can't even, like, I know a little kid was holding his hand out, and it was like you just want to hit their hand so hard, but you can't even. You're trying to conserve all energy to get to that line. So I was glad to at least slap some 5s down before I made an epic feint at the finish line. It's always a pretty picture, isn't it?
It was fantastic.